Hey friends, are you craving a funnel cake like they make at the fair? Well, I'm going to show you how to make them at home. We're going to start by putting our pan over a medium-high heat and adding about 2 inches worth of oil. It can be vegetable oil or canola oil, whatever you have on hand. And we're going to make these without using a thermometer. I'll show you how to test the temperature of that oil. So we're going to start by making the batter, and it's going to be very similar to a pancake batter. And we're going to crack in 2 eggs and whisk that together with 1 cup of milk. And now you want to make sure that you keep your wet and your dry ingredients separate at first, because we want to make sure everything is evenly combined in here. So we're going to get this all whisked. We don't want any lumps in here. And then we're going to add all of our dry ingredients. Oh, don't mind my hand. I spilled it. It's fine. We're going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour into this bowl. And then 2 tablespoons of sugar. And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And then the very last ingredient in here is 1 teaspoon of salt. And don't worry about remembering these, because I'll give you a screenshot later, a place to screenshot. And once you have those combined, you want to stir that together before you add this to the wet ingredients. So I just used my same whisk from the wet and just kind of stirred them together a little bit. And then you want to whisk that all together into the wet ingredients. So this is a pretty simple batter. Now I did notice that I felt like I needed a little bit more milk. Mine ended up being a bit thick. So just keep that in mind when you're making this, that if it's a little bit thick, just add a little bit more milk to it. You can tell right away right here that it's going to be a little bit thick. So I added another 1/4 cup of milk. So think about that on the recipe. You may want to change it to 1 1/4, but it's best to combine these first and decide before you put too much in. So this was the perfect consistency here, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make these funnel cakes. There's no fancy equipment needed. The first way is we're just going to spoon this right into that measuring cup. And then we're going to go over to our stove and make these. Here's how I test the oil. We're going to take just a tiny bit of this batter and we're going to just swirl it around in that pan. And if your heat is too high, you will notice this cook very fast. We don't want that, because we want to make sure that the inside gets completely done. If it cooks too fast on the outside, you're going to have that kind of raw, doughy inside, and nobody likes that. We like it all crispy, crunchy together. So this definitely was cooking too fast, so I just turned that heat down. And then you do want to let it set for maybe about 5 minutes or so to let that cool down after you turn the heat down. But this is one way you can get around not having a thermometer. So once you think it's cooled down a little bit, then you're just going to take your measuring cup and just put the batter in. I don't know, just swirl it around. You know, funnel cakes, it's kind of all mishmash, nothing's perfect. And then I'm going to speed this up a little bit, because it takes about 1 or 2 minutes each side, even up to 3 minutes to cook. And then once it's starting to look golden brown, then you're going to flip these. I personally thought mine looked a little bit dark, all of them, even though I kept thinking I should turn them sooner, but they tasted wonderful, so don't worry about that. Then you're going to just drain that on a paper towel. Now I'm going to show you a different way. So again, you don't have to have any fancy equipment. You don't have to have a piping bag, but you can use a plastic baggie if you think this method is easier. So you can just spoon that batter right into a plastic baggie. And then we're going to seal this up nice and tight so nothing squirts out the top. Make sure you get all the air out of there. And then we're just going to snip the end off, just big enough for a nice stream of that batter to come out. So that's kind of the second method. I don't know if I preferred one or the other. This one, I didn't feel like I had quite as much control, but I did feel like the little circulars were more circular, I guess. And if you can see there, I left some little holes where the oil could come up through. I felt like it worked better that way, just to have more oil, more surface space. And then, of course, again, when it's golden brown, and I sped this time up for the video, so, you know, this is going to take, I would say 1 to 2, maybe even 3 minutes per side to cook, depending on how hot your oil is. I didn't have any problems with issues of it not being done in the center. So it made this many, and then I just sprinkled them with powdered sugar. Now, here's the screenshot if you want to take it for the recipe, and then here's another one. And then I just sprinkled these all with powdered sugar and served them just like they would at the fair. They were so good, crispy and warm and delicious. You could not go wrong with these. Definitely try them. I did also chop up a few strawberries and put it on, and that was so, so good. But if you like this recipe, please like, subscribe. I hope to see you again. And try the funnel cakes and let me know if they turned out for you.